Holy, that's amazing. That's incredible. Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Steve Kinney. I'm an engineer and a producer. In this video, we're going to be looking at the C-Suite Vox plugin by Universal Audio and Cedar Audio. Now, timestamps are available for your convenience. All I ask is that you hit the like button, leave a comment below, let me know you stopped by, and subscribe to the channel for more. All right, let's dive right into it. All right, so I have to first start out by saying that this plugin kind of came out of nowhere. There's no real marketing behind it, and just kind of popped up with the new update that came out with the API launch. Now, typically when I come across software like this that claims to do something miraculous, I usually think of it like snake oil. However, knowing that Universal Audio always puts out really great stuff, I figured I'd give it a try with an open mind. Now, we are going to be taking a look at some sound examples and going through that, but I have done some initial testing on it and it's mind-blowing how good this actually really is. So let's jump right into the background on this plugin. Obviously, Universal Audio has an extensive history with pro audio and all things audio production. However, I hadn't heard of Cedar Audio before, so I did a little digging, and it turns out that Cedar Audio has been around for over 30 years, and what they claim right off the website is if you enjoy a trip to the movies, you're almost certainly listening to dialogue that's been cleaned up by Cedar Audio, and that's exactly what this plugin does. It cleans up your audio, it removes background noises, and it gives a really great result. It's fantastic for really reverberant rooms like the one that I'm in right now, where it's pretty echoey and sometimes can be distracting. It's amazing for post-production audio. So if you're a podcaster, if you're a YouTuber, voiceover artists, I'm looking at you guys, you should probably pick this up. Generally speaking, it's really good for that kind of thing. So for content creators like myself, I'm certainly going to be picking this one up and adding it to my collection. And to some extent, I think that this is almost a necessary plugin. I think everybody should have this kind of software. It's infinitely better than some audio restoration software that I've used inside of like DaVinci Resolve or Final Cut Pro. This thing works wonders. So now that we've got the background out of the way, let's take a look at the software and kind of go over the interface. So jumping into this, the interface is incredibly simple. You've really only got about 4 real buttons or knobs that you can kind of play around with. You've got the noise versus room control, and you're just choosing the different algorithms. One's going to try to remove noise, the other one's going to try to remove room tone. And then you have the attenuate button, which basically determines how much of the background noise that the algorithm is trying to attenuate. Then you have an ambience knob, which is going to determine how damped or dry the signal actually is going to be perceived. And then finally, in the top right-hand corner, you have a bypass button, so you can bypass it in real time within the UAD processor. And a quick pro tip, whenever you're using UAD plugins, if you bypass it from within the plugin's interface, you typically won't experience as many pops and glitches than you would if you were to just hit the power button on the plugin itself. So if you're trying to do like a quick A/B, always use that little bypass inside of the plugin. So the first way that I will demonstrate this is actually just on my lapel mic right here. So as I'm talking right now, you should hear the audio switch over to the C-Suite Vox plugin, and it does an awesome job. Like I said, I'm probably going to be picking this up and using it as much as I can in my videos when it calls for it. So now what's it sound like for podcasters or content creators? Let's take a look at that. All right, check 1, 2. This is a test of the often coveted SM7B, which you can find on a lot of podcasting shows. And this is a very simple, dry take right now, but once you add in compression, you're going to start to hear the room a lot more. And so let's see what C-Suite Vox does to this performance. All right, check 1, 2. This is a test of the often coveted SM7B, which you can find on a lot of podcasting shows. And this is a very simple, dry take right now, but once you add in compression, you're going to start to hear the room a lot more. And so let's see what C-Suite Vox does to this performance. Huge difference, even with a mic as dry as the SM7B. So now let's take a look at something like a vocal. I went down to St. James Infirmary, to St. James Infirmary, saw my baby there. So on a vocal, I think that the room setting works a lot better than the noise setting. Sometimes it kind of almost has that de-esser effect where it pulls all of that top end out, but generally speaking sounds really, really clean, really good, and really subtle. So now let's listen to the acoustic guitar. Now I'm not sure on this one. I never tested this just yet on something like a guitar, but let's see what kind of result we can get from it. All right, ready? Holy, that's amazing. That's incredible. Now, obviously, if I push it too far, it's gonna start to remove some of those transients and not sound very good, but adding a subtle amount really did help out tremendously and really kind of focused the sound on the guitar, which is pretty cool. That's incredible. So now on to my final thoughts, but before we go any further, if you're new to the Apollo platform, check out my Heritage Classic Sessions pack. It's available now. It's the quickest way to get production-ready sounds just with your Apollo. It's a really great way to learn traditional signal flows in studios everywhere, and it really helps me make more content like this. So any support is greatly appreciated. So now let's talk final thoughts here. This plugin has completely blown me away. I didn't know how good of a result I was gonna get on my acoustic guitar, and I certainly didn't know how good of an effect I was gonna get on my vocal. I thought it came out really good as well. I think a major benefit here is that you're able to track with it in real time, just like any other UAD plugin. And if I did it this way, I'd probably be quite a bit more conservative in the amount of reduction or attenuation that I'm doing with the noise, but it certainly has a really strong effect when you use it that way also. And of course, it's really cool if you track this way because you can save DSP later. And then of course, for podcasters, for content creators, this is a tremendous value to be able to have your vocal and your voice sound that clear, especially if you're like me and you're downtown where there's all sorts of noise and especially if you're like me where you're right downtown and there's tons of noise and you want really clear audio. So anyways, there you have it. A bit of a simpler video here, but I really wanted to share my thoughts on this because it just blew me away when I was doing my initial testing. And I truly don't think I'd be doing my subscribers justice if I didn't bring this one up or mention it. So go out, give it a shot, demo this one today, see how it works for your productions, and you'll see how big of a difference it really does make. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like, leave a comment below, let me know your thoughts. If you guys want to work with me directly, feel free to follow me on Instagram at @TheSteveKinney. And to support the channel further, go to thestevekinney.com where you can find the Console Classics and Heritage Classic Sessions packs, which again are available right now. Thanks so much for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next video.